Hey, what's up, guys? Back again for another episode of 15 Minutes. Where are they now? Now, I have the hiccups tonight, so I might be hiccuping my way through this fucking episode with my old friend, Paul McIntyre. This is the show where we call back previous 15 Minutes of Lame Contestants and we see whether their fucking reptile dreams came true or if they fucking crashed and burned like a fucking Petco thermostat. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm gonna bring in my old friend, Paul McIntyre from For Real 3D Printing. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, everybody?
How have you been doing?
Living a dream, sweating, dodging hurricanes.
Yeah, that's Florida for you.
Yeah. Yeah. This last one was pretty bad.
Yeah, seriously. I saw everything that got fucked, Yeah. So it was interesting to see everybody kind of get back on the mend, though. So pretty happy about that. Now, last time you came on, you were Predator Park Reptiles.
Yep.
Oh, what happened with that?
Well, Chris, we focused primarily on the big stuff and with retics and berms, and unfortunately, the state of Florida decided to make some pretty drastic changes and kind of take those conditional species permits away from us and make those animals prohibited. So no longer could you breed them. There's a lot of mixed information. Some people will say you can keep them as pets. Some people will say that you can't. My inspector that did my venomous inspection told me that he read the rule, quote unquote, as you could keep them as pets. His boss said the exact opposite. Absolutely not. You cannot keep them as pets in a residential home. You have to be a brick and mortar facility who is open to the public. So there's quite a bit of misinformation, and Fish and Wildlife wants it that way. As keepers, we don't need to argue about it, because what my officer tells me, the next person's officer says something completely different. And that's how they get away with what they get away with. So,
and how much money did you put into that business?
If I was going to go by total amount, over 20K.
Okay. And you just had to get rid of all of them.
Yep. And here's the thing, Chris, and a lot of people at the time were telling me that I was nuts. We sold before the law actually went in front of Senate. And I looked at it as, from an investment standpoint, it's a bad investment to hold until the rule is made. Because let's face fact. Yeah, let's face fact. Somebody in, let's just say, Pennsylvania is going to say, you have a $5,000 retic, you live in the state of Florida, you have 90 days to get rid of it. I'll give you $100 for it. And I'm sure that's not the right number. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're never going to get the value for it. Now, those animals could have been sent to maybe a friend or something out of state. And if you look back in history, those things never turn out very well, and it's probably 50-50 on, was it intentional and was it just bad karma? So we just looked at it as, let's get into something else. And, we kind of moved closer towards ball pythons and let's do that. And we just had a really bad run with the animals that we had, and things just didn't work out. So
you have no animals left?
No, we have some. My son Aiden's collecting carpet pythons. So we have some carpet pythons. We have a couple boas. Nothing out of this world. I had my venomous permit for a year. Of course, the state of Florida, doing what they do best, started to send out information about changes that they wanted to make. Hey, we want you to list your immediate neighbors on your Part B, which is your disaster plan, which again, we can argue about till you're blue in the face. If you're smart enough to understand that one law leads to another law, then you're smart enough to know that putting your immediate neighbors on your Part B is just the first step to, hey, we're going to send your immediate neighbors a letter warning them that if they see something out of the ordinary, this is the number that they should call, and that your neighbor potentially has venomous reptiles. Therefore, U.S. or Florida Fish and Wildlife is learning that if they all out ban something, they have to deal with us in US Ark, and they don't want to deal with that. So what better way to do it than to say, hey, if there's 400 permit holders and 150 of these permit holders get taken out by their neighbors, their HOAs, and their communities, they just won 150 battles that they would have had to pay money to do if they were fighting against US Ark.
Right,
so,
right. They'll have your neighbors do the job for them.
Exactly. So we decided not to renew, and which they didn't put that in, which is good. I have a great relationship with my inspector. He's not a bad guy. He's a reptile keeper. He's got a job to do. He gets paid to do the job. He's got to follow the rules. But again, the misinformation, the right from the left is what kills us all. And as long as they're allowed to do that, we're all going to lose. So, which is unfortunate.
I was recently talking to Jeremy Baud, and he said if it's a choice between moving and getting rid of the animals, he's going to move. You know, he's going to move out of state. So,
yeah, we've done a couple shows with Jeremy, and he's pretty much said the same thing. When you invest, I mean, Chris, you know how this is. When you invest that kind of time and effort into this, what more can what can they take away? You know, and that was a sad fact with losing the retics. I mean, I love those animals, and again, some people will say, well, you didn't love them too much because you sold them. Well, you're right, I did, but I would not have been able to keep them, and they would have been taken away from me and euthanized. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
So would it be safe to say that your reptile dreams have crashed and burned in the last 2 years?
I don't know. I mean, we have some really cool animals, and my son was introduced to this at a very young age. He's 17 years old, and he's working on this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I would say that me having a business as a reptile breeder has crashed and burned. But past that, I don't believe so. I'm still tied into the reptile community. I've made some great friends. I mean, i.e. the one I'm talking to right now. I've made some great friends here. So I don't think I've lost anything. Money can always be made. Friendships hopefully sometimes last forever. And, like I said, the coolest part is being able to talk to people and hang out, which is why we went in the direction we went in. So,
right. Well, it's interesting too. That's what I want to talk about is the reptile thing. You kind of noticed that the reptile thing wasn't going to work out early because you knew what Florida Fish and Game were capable of, right?
Yep.
And you kind of pivoted into something that's really cool too.
Yeah.
And talk to me about For Real 3D printing.
So we did a show a little over a year ago in Kissimmee, and we had some ball pythons that we wanted to move. We had a couple geckos, just some odds and ends stuff. And part of what we wanted to do was, hey, I just bought a 3D printer, so we printed these cool little dinosaurs. And I told my son, I'm like, hey, if we take these and we sell 10 of them for $10 a piece, that pays for the table. So if we don't sell a snake, at least we're not out any money. Right. I mean, at least we've managed to pay for the table. Well, we almost made $400 on just little plastic toys. And we left that show and we both kind of scratched our heads and said, wow, that's very interesting that we got to that point. So what else can we do? We started to get into the articulated dragons and a lot of the newer stuff, bearded dragons, snakes, leopard geckos. There's all kinds of stuff, and it's grown to the point now where I don't mind going to a reptile show and sitting back and talking to parents and kids, and that's a lot of our customers are parents and kids that they're nagging for a snake or a leopard gecko. Mom and dad are like, nope, but we'll buy you this because it's not alive. and it's $25. So, I mean, it's turned into something cool. And on top of that, it's gone through with my job too. For those that don't know, I work in nutraceuticals as a food safety specialist and EHS manager. And part of that is we have a bunch of parts that are 3D printed that we get from overseas, and the lead time with COVID and everything is insane. So my employers have actually bought a 3D scanner and 3D printers and sent us to school for 3D modeling. So I can now 3D model and scan stuff, and I have printers at work, and I'm constantly evolving and learning. And we went from one printer a year ago, and at home here right now we have 11. So
yeah, I saw the growth, but I just want to bring it back real quick.
Yeah.
Nutraceuticals, that sounds like a made-up fucking word. What the fuck does that mean?
Dietary supplements, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, what was wrong with dietary supplements?
Well,
what was wrong with that
pharmaceuticals,
term?
Dietary supplements, it's all the same thing.
Damn it. Sounds like fucking bullshit. That's all I'm saying. Right? And now you got 11 machines basically. So you're kind of like a little China. You're like a manufacturing plant right in your own house.
This is no joke. When you take these things apart, somebody with extremely small fingers has put them together, because my sausage fingers, I can't get in. It's horrible. I burn myself. I poke myself. I can't get things apart. I'm using needle nose pliers to pull little wires out, little teeny tiny screwdrivers. Like, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, we use the reptile room. We still have snakes in there, but it's the warmest room in the house, unfortunately. So on any given day, it's 85 plus degrees in there with 11 printers and 9 or 10 reptile cages.
Yeah.
So it's nice and warm.
Well, for real company, are printers just going all the time?
24/7. And listen, there's for those that want to get into 3D printing, it's amazing. Reach out. I'm an open book. If you have a 3D printer and you're having problems with it, let me know. As a 3D printing person in the community, I love to help other people. I've helped a few reptile people that have printers. Honestly, it's all just little modifications and little tweaking here and there. It's one of those things that you just constantly have to fiddle with. So I have 11 printers, but at any given time, maybe only 6 or 7 of them are running because something's out of adjustment, something's out of calibration, something's out of whack. And it's just like, whatever. If I can keep 7 of them running at all times, then we have more than enough prints for shows, and then I have my printers to do my own stuff. So,
well, how many, I'm going to call them 3D model dragons or snakes. Like, how many do you take to a show?
So something like this, I don't know if you can see it.
That's nice.
Something like this is about a 20-hour print, 22-hour print. And we usually have anywhere from 100 to, let's say, 110 units at a show. And over the last probably 6 or 7 shows, we kind of keep track. We sell anywhere from 60 to 80 units a show.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So you're doing all right.
Yeah. And listen, it's fun. It honestly is.
No, I totally get it. I'm into all that. Matter of fact, some of the bigger companies now are offering 3D printed models of, like, if you want to make yourself an action figure, they'll do it for $70 or whatever. Yep. But how long does it take you to make that dragon that you just showed?
That dragon is about 20 hours, between 20 and 20 hours. Yep.
And you have 7 of them going at any given time.
Yep. So we have a lot. What's that?
How much has your electricity bill gone up since you've been doing this?
Right. A couple $100.
Yeah.
At first I was like, man, I'm getting screwed by the man. And then I started looking and I'm like, wait a minute. This just happens to coincide when I added those other 5 printers.
Right.
Interesting. I'm like, God damn it.
and what, because I know literally nothing about 3D printing, but how much do you have 11 of the same printers, or are they all different manufacturers? And
we have 5 of the Elegoo Neptune 2s. We have a couple Ender 3s. We have an Ender 5. We have a CR10, and then we have a couple Anycubic enclosed printers for 2A stuff.
Okay. And what's the cost of a decent 3D
for
printer
a decent
these
one?
days?
$300, between $200 and $300.
No shit, really?
Yep. Yeah, but now remember, you buy a $200 or $300 printer, and I'm now learning from a very good friend that's been helping me as an engineer that you buy a $200 to $300 printer, you probably need to put between $100 and $150 in upgrades into it to get it printing to the point where maybe if you print 10 items, you may have maybe one failure. You know, maybe you get to 20 or 30 and you have a failure. If you don't upgrade it, you take it right out of the box and you print, you're probably 1 in 5 you're going to have failed parts because they're put together with the absolute cheapest stuff that you can find. So by upgrading your board. You need to learn how to write your firmware. You know, there's a lot to it that I didn't know about, that I'm just now starting to learn, that I'm like, oh, wow, my printer does this. And Andre says, yeah, I can tell you why it does that. Did you do this? Yep. Oh, I knew it. And it's like, how you just, there's no way to, it's hard to learn that stuff. You really have to go through it with somebody else and have them explain to you, you know, some of the fluid dynamics and the different melting points of different filaments. You know, you work with ABS versus, you know, PTEG or TPU or PLA Plus, PLA Pro. There's so many different things, composite. But once you can master some of that stuff, you can do some pretty neat things.
Right. Well, the dragon that you just showed me, right?
Yep.
Do you have to paint that as well?
Nope. No, that is actually a multicolored filament. So over the last 4 to 6 months, companies are starting to come out with color shifting filament. So where you see like that color shifting paint job on a car,
right,
you're now seeing it in the filament. So you can get like red, green, purple, red, green, blue, green and purple, you know, all these cool different colors. Whereas when I first started doing this, it was like rainbow, where it would be a foot that was red, a foot that was orange, a foot.
Right.
Yeah. It prints cool. That's still super cool when it prints, but it's not as cool as the silky stuff that is, you know, all different colors. And that's the hardest stuff to keep on the shelf.
Well, how many times has it happened where you're 18 hours into a print and then it just gets fucked up at the last 20%?
I couldn't even count.
Really? That much?
I had a foregrip for AR9 that was 5 days, and at 96%, the nozzle somehow managed to just nick the top part of it and knock it over. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's like at 4.5 days that happened. So it makes you
Jesus
want to cry.
Christ, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, but that's, you know, part of the manufacturing aspect of, you know, I've done stuff for people where they say, hey, can you make this, you know, part for me? And I just want to see if it'll work. And it's like, yeah, you know, you charge a few bucks. I'm not an engineer or anything like that. I do the best I can, but it's fun to try to help somebody solve a problem, you know, that they're having. And we've printed some stuff that has helped us in the reptile end of things too, little dish holders and, you know, just stupid little things that honestly a 3D printer is not going to, if you start talking at large scale, 3D printing is not the way to do it.
Not cost effective, right?
Yeah, no. You would be looking at making a model, maybe making a few dozen pieces. Okay, they went over well. Testers used them. And then finding a manufacturer that could injection mold and actually make, you know, thousands of them at a time.
Well, you do something else that Jeremy showed me was the tile printing, right?
Yep.
That's fucking cool as shit. Now, do you have different printers that have to do that?
No, I actually have a laser engraver. I was on with Sean not too long ago. We actually have kind of a collab project going on with US Ark, where we have a set of 4 coasters that are laser engraved that say US Ark on them. And Sean did the sign that I can see right there behind you. So the laser engraver is cool. It just didn't take off the way that we thought it would. It was more my wife's idea, saying, hey, you know, can we get that? Can we get this laser engraver with a cup turner? I want to make some cups. And I thought, yeah, you know, that'd be kind of neat. We've done some dedication and memorial photographs where you actually take a canvas and you can laser engrave onto a canvas an actual portrait. So it takes a little bit of tweaking. We did something for Jeannie, and Jeremy got upset because Jeremy did send me a message asking me to do him something, and I forgot. But Jeannie is much sweeter than Jeremy, so
yes, much.
So it's easy to forget him. But we did do the picture of him with the big alligator, which turned out really cool. But we can do all kinds of different portraits and cool stuff with the laser engraver on just about any size tile up to 18 by 18 inches.
Oh, you could go that big, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And do you have a website where all these things are available, or an Etsy store, or a Shopify link?
So we started doing the Etsy thing, and Etsy's a funny animal. I paid for E-ranks and went through all that stuff, and it just never took off. So we're in the process right now building a new website. I'm working with somebody that's doing have a business consultant. We're looking at, setting up a website, making it easier for people to order at shows if we don't have a color that they want, or they want something specific like a custom tile or something to that effect. But also just to do online sales through, videos like this, or, just other advertising that we're looking into right now.
Okay. So now where do you see For Real in 5 years?
That's tough. I really enjoy what we're doing right now and the size and scale that we are. The month of September was the first time we did more than one show in a month. We actually did 3. And honestly, we did extremely well. So my youngest son is helping with this. He goes to all the reptile shows with me, but now we're starting to dive into possibly doing some of the art shows around the area. And hopefully in 5 years, we'll be doing just a bunch of weekend shows and having fun doing consulting work and, some 3D modeling and prototyping for people. But, we're just going to keep to growing the way that we are, because honestly, I don't see this being something that is going to stop as long as we have things around us. I mean, you would be amazed at the things that you can 3D print. Right. There's so many different things.
But they're 3D printing houses now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man.
So, but I mean, as far as like you have a guitar hanging on the wall, wall hangers, different parts for cars. There is so many doors that can be opened that it's almost hard to say, why would you, my machines have been paid for 5 times in the last 3 months. So now it's just buying filament and pushing the start button and learning more, which is the cool part. Again, I love tinkering. So that's why I say, if there's people in the reptile industry that have printers and you have questions, hit me up. I love talking shop,
All right.
Well,
tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to buy something or if they have a question.
So best way to get a hold of me is probably Instagram, For Real 3D, _real_3D. That's probably the best way. You can hit us up on there. I do believe my phone number is on there too, but just shoot me a message and I'll send you my number. And, again, I look forward to talking shop with everybody. I mean, we are doing all the Repticons. We were going to do Daytona this year, but the cost and it just, we did the show in Jacksonville the weekend before, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress over it. We'll just go hang out at Daytona. And we really only went for one day. So it just didn't do anything for me.
No, I heard that was a shit show anyway.
I don't understand the split in rooms, but whatever. I'm not the show promoter, so that's none of my business.
Yeah, it's like, let's keep 30 feet in between the aisle, but let's add an extra room with 30 more feet in between aisles. Yeah. Just fucking insane.
Yeah. And then, it is what it is. But we may have animals down the road. There's some projects that me and my son both really want to work on, and we've talked to the wife, and you know, the deal is that if we can fund them through the 3D printing, then it makes life better. You know, I have a really good job. I love where I work, you know, and at the end of the day, I have no intentions of doing anything like leaving there. But this is a great side hustle. And, you know, for those of you that are doing reptile shows, that, you know, you can throw, if you have a 3D printer at home, it's an easy way to make a couple bucks, you know.
Right. So, all right. Well, but before we get going, tell me the name of that bullshit job again that you do.
I work in nutraceuticals. I eat dietary supplements. Okay. I eat dietary supplements, everybody.
Paul, thank you so much for fucking taking the time, man. I appreciate you coming back and fucking hanging out and just being honest about everything that happened. So I totally appreciate that. I'm sure you will get some people listening to this and contact you. So I appreciate you coming back, brother.
Oh, so, it's always fun to be on the show, man.
Well, you hang out for 1 minute and, you know, I'll be back. I'm just going to play this stupid bumper again. Right?
Yeah, no problem, brother. Thanks, everybody.
Man, that's a fucking honest dude right now. Just fucking transparent as fucking telling you everything that fucking happened to him. And, you know, that's the gamble you make when you fucking start dealing with live animals, right? But anyway, for real 3D, right? Underscore in between each word. Fucking go check out Paul. And I will see you next time on this ridiculous show that we're doing. I mean, they're fun. You know, we figured let's do these little shorts and kind of knock it out and hope that people enjoy them. So hope you did enjoy this one. I'll see you next time, guys.